Good day, everybody. It is my pleasure to be part of the Breathe virtual conference. My name is Tara Myshrall, and I am one of the co-authors of the Breathe book. I'd like to take a moment and just say what a wonderful group have come together to create the book and A Beautiful Life magazine. And I hope you will find it gives you some hope and some tactical tools to deal with these turbulent and uncertain times. This pandemic has gone on for a year, and many are left feeling tired and worn out with all of the stress and uncertainty. Our goal in writing Breathe is to give you some sense of calmness in the chaos and to hopefully provide you with some tactical skills that will help pull you out on the other end of this very challenging time. That being said, life is quite simple at the end of the day. If we can really just get rid of all of the noise, get rid of trying to be right or wrong or the judgment of ourselves and of others, we can connect back to what's really important. And I believe that is the love energy. Love energy is the highest frequency energy that we can emit. And by sitting and taking an opportunity to reconnect to our soul and our breath, we can easily get back to what's important. I say easily, but I know it's never really easy. So let's take a second to explore this. When I was younger, had quite a hot temper and I would be triggered so easily. I've spent my 40 something years on this planet trying to get to the heart of where that anger came from. The research that I've done has shown that many of us use our experiences from childhood to govern the way that we operate as an adult. In fact, 7 and under is where we formulate a lot of our subconscious thoughts, which then govern our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is not created till after 7. And by then, we already have quite a personality and a slew of hurts that we've sort of collected along the way. With those hurts and pains, we create a story and we live through that story. And we tend to keep those glasses or those lenses on as we go out through our life. So think of this for a moment. Have you ever been driving down the street and someone cuts you off and you just want to scream? Is it really that person in front of you that cut over into your lane that made you scream? Or is it a slew of other things that have been bubbling up under the surface? By connecting to our breath and taking a moment to pause and reflect, we can choose the energy we want to respond with. As opposed to going from reaction or being triggered, we have an opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, and release. And that's really what the article that I wrote or the chapter I wrote is about. And it's also what I'd like to further explore with you today. So, this idea of the breath, a situation arises. We are breathing through that situation, but generally the situation leads to an automatic thought. And that automatic thought will then create a reaction. And that reaction or action will completely move that cycle forward and we'll stay in that situation, thought, action. If we can pause, take a deep breath, and ask ourselves, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Why am I responding from this place of reaction? Then we have an opportunity to consciously create the life that we want instead of being in trigger mode. If you look at all the things that may have happened in your childhood, no matter if they're small or big, your reaction to them has been stored. And many of us decide that we're going to push that pain down inside. We're not going to allow it to bubble up. When it does bubble up, we push it down and we move forward. I used to do that because I'm always trying to be at the top of my game and be a performer, always the latest courses and reading the most books and trying to just constantly learn and do better. But one day I realized that by not releasing the pains of the past, by not understanding where the anger is coming from, that I'm not effectively dealing with it. And it caught up to me. Last year, I had a stroke. And for me, that stroke really gave me an opportunity to go in and decide, am I going to live like this for the rest of my life? Yes, to everybody else, again, top performer, great house, have everything that I need. But I'm not consciously deciding how I want to live my life. I'm not ensuring there's balance. And that made me really delve into meditation and connection to my breath. So let's look at this for a moment. If we explore what your past may have entailed, is it the big events that really make you blow up? Because I think it's all the little things that add up, almost like death by 1,000 paper cuts, that finally make you blow your top. So if we can go in and excavate out all of those thoughts, connect with our inner self, our inner voice, and push out that love frequency, then we'll be able to move past it. Instead of burying it, we're moving forward with it. Another way that I like to kind of point this out is think about it where if you stop and you breathe, you reflect, and you release. Stop, breathe, reflect, release. Alternatively, if you're coming from that place of tension, you have tension, you bury, and it builds. You have tension, you bury it, and it builds. This very small distinction can really help us when we are trying to build a life of our dreams, when we're trying to create what we want. Instead of just being responsive, connecting to the breath reminds us that we're alive, that over the last 13 billion years, our forefathers have walked to the planet and evolved to get us where I am and where you are today. When we connect in with that breath and we pause, we also realize that those 10 trillion cells within our body that are working together are working harmoniously just for us to be sitting here having this dialogue. So if that power, if that frequency is within us and we can tap into it, then we can put that frequency out there. That will not only improve our results and the life that we're living, but it also helps others around us that are really struggling during these times. Further exploring that, if we are coming from a place of fear or past experiences, that anger, that disappointment, that resentment, that lack of trust, all of that has fear at the underlying basis of it, which is a very low frequency. And if you think that everything out there is energy, then we're emitting that energy out and we're receiving that energy back. By choosing to take a breath and connect to that inner source, we now decide we're going to come from that place of love. And in a place of love, anything is possible. I know this sounds too easy, but remember what I said in the beginning. Life is quite simple. If we can just plug into what's already there, this universal energy, the frequency, the vibration that our cells are emanating on, that we are putting out into the world, then we'll be reminded that that little thing like that traffic jam or your son getting you upset or your boyfriend yelling at you or your dog eating your shoes, in the big scheme of things, really doesn't mean what it means in that moment. If we really take some time and reflect, have our breath, and release, we'll also be able to start to get in a creative zone where we can build what we want. And doesn't matter if there's COVID or a pandemic in front of us, we will find intuitive and natural ways to build past that, to find the opportunities, to find the possibilities. We tap into that universal energy and we get into flow. And once we're in flow, anything is possible. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's easier said than done, but trust me, I've been through it. I have been there. When I was lying on that hospital bed for 7 days in the holidays last year, I didn't know what I was going to do when I got out of the hospital. I just knew I was going to jump back into work and be productive. And I did that for a few weeks. It didn't serve me. Now, I'm not saying not to be productive, to be successful, to be spiritual, any of those things. I'm saying be it all. Diversify what your future looks like because you need to make a choice. You need to decide what you're going to create. And if you're deciding that you're going to create a healthy, happy, successful life, then everything you do has to be congruent with that. How do we do that? We always check in with the pause in our breath to make sure that our reaction is coming from the place of the life we want to build and create for ourselves. I'd love to tell you more, but I'm on a bit of a time limit. So I hope you enjoy our chapter. I hope you enjoy the book that all of the co-authors have helped write. And I hope you'll continue to subscribe to A Beautiful Life magazine. It's putting possibilities out there in a time where we feel really dark. And at the end of the day, if you'd like more information, please feel free to go to taramyshrall.com. I've got courses available and lots of free content. I'd love to help make your day a little brighter. Thank you so much with love and light. Till next time.